500 years ago, on March the 7th, 1526, 18 Anabaptists were in a fix. They were sentenced to life imprisonment for disobeying the government. They disobeyed the church too, but what could they do? They were one and the same. Some of these 18 were there on the night of January 21st, 1525, when a group of radicals took a dive, not into a tank or lake or river. That would have been a shiver in Zurich during winter. That evening of January instead was done quite secretly, for it was a forbidden act and a sober communal pact to separate from powers that be, to form a church that would be free from Christendom, with which they just could not jive. It may have been done secretly a year ago, but now it was all out in the open. There had been numerous public disputations. The one ending today on March the 7th was the 10th. However, in reality, this one was not a disputation. It was not a discussion. It was not a deliberation. It was not a consultation. It was a confrontation. It was a conclusion. It was a final salutation. The disputations were passed, the die was cast, the sentence was passed by the council of 200 upon the 18, who gave these brief answers. Felix Mons, who said infant baptism is not right. George Blaurock said those who baptize infants are murderers and thieves against God. Conrad Grebel persists in the belief that his baptism is right and will let God rule. Dr. Balthasar Hubmeier, who had answered previously, would put the matter of baptism to rest for now and begs forgiveness. Fifthly, Anthony Roggenacher of Schweiz, the furrier, considers baptism a right for those who forsake sin and diligently follow Christ. Ernst von Glatz of Silesia was baptized last Thursday. Uli Hottinger of Zolliken says that infant baptism cannot be found in the Bible, so should not be done. Hans Hottinger of Zolliken, the watchman, wants to stay with his baptism. Rudolf Hottinger did not think he did wrong with his baptism, but promised he would stay home and be with his children and be peaceful. Number 10, Elizabeth Hottinger said that what she had done was right and would stay with that to her death. 11, Margaret Hottinger answers that whoever is baptized in their manner will be saved, and whoever would fight it is called a child of the devil. Have you noticed? So many Hottingers? What a clan! There are more stories we could tell, such as when Jacob Hottinger, Margaret's father, said that when a priest goes behind the altar to prepare for the Mass, it is to him like a farmer going behind the bush for a piss. And then there was Klaus Hottinger, who smashed a shrine with a shovel, a torch, and a hiss. The Hottingers were hot under their collars. They were a family of troublemakers. But let's continue with our list. Number 12. Hans Ockenfuss says that he will stay on the side of truth and seal the same with his blood. Agli Ockenfuss answered that people had been baptized in her house and she would stay with her baptism because she considers it right. Karl Brenwald confessed that the furrier had baptized him in the Wiederkehrens house. And up to 15, Friedli Beiberg of Schweiz said he had gone to Ockenfuss, who had been his tailor, and there had baptized one who had begged of him. 16, Hans Heingartner of St. Gallen had been visiting at the furrier's house and became convinced that Anabaptism was right. Anna Wiederkehren was baptized by Karl Brenwald in her house. She will stay with her baptism, which she holds as good and right. And lastly, Anna Mons was baptized by Conrad Grebel in her house more than a year previous. She considers him just and good and talks much about the love of God and her people. The sentence was read. Concerning these Anabaptists, it is declared that upon their answers which each one gave, and their opinions persisted in, that they shall be put together into the new tower, and they shall be given nothing to eat but bread and water, and bedded on straw. And the attendant who guards them shall under oath let no one come to them or go away from them. Thus let them die in the tower, unless anyone desists from his acts and error and intends to be obedient. Similarly, the girls and women shall be placed together and treated in every respect as stated above. It is further decided to issue an open mandate everywhere indicating the severe imprisonment of the Anabaptists, and that anyone who baptizes hereafter will be drowned without mercy and thus brought from life unto death. As the Anabaptists languished in prison, Ulrich Zwingli, civic and religious father of the city of Zurich and teacher to some of those imprisoned, wrote about these events to his friend Vadian, brother-in-law to Conrad Grebel, in the neighboring city of St. Gallen. Grace and peace from the Lord. This day, most honorable burgomaster, it has been decreed by the council that Anabaptist ringleaders shall be cast back into the tower in which they previously lay, where they shall be enticed by bread and water until they die or surrender. It was further decided that whoever is baptized hereafter will be submerged permanently. This decision has already been proclaimed. Patience has endured long enough and finally erupted. The incorrigibly impetuous audacity of these people. It first just pained me, and now it just irks me. And so, all 18 were jailed, with the cooperation and collusion of both church and state. Their fate was sealed. Or was it? Had the movement failed? Find out in 2 weeks in part 2.